Yeah, I've been
Oh, did you
motivated.
hear Izzy? Did you hear Izzy? She like growled.
I did actually. All right, 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. Izzy, you can growl all you want. I'm going to mute you. Izzy, you're muted. All right. That was the puppy. All right, so let's get started with our boot camp. Have your water nearby. Play music if you like. We're going to start with, as always, our warm up, because the last thing I want is for anyone to get injured in boot camp. So, got to do a proper warm up, dynamically stretch our bodies so that our muscles are primed and ready for more intense movement. So, marching in place, high knees, swinging those arms. I usually go to the bathroom before class, and I didn't today. I hope it doesn't come back and haunt me. It's not like my bathroom's not right there, but I don't want to, interrupt class. Okay, turning sideways again. I'm just gonna reach my legs out for more of a kicking motion, just to get those hamstrings more stretched. Just really exaggerating my arm swings to get motion in the shoulder joint. Go at your own pace. This is the warm up. And at any time during the workout, we're going to be doing 40-second intervals. Yes, you want to push yourself. Yes, you want to challenge yourself, but you're always going at your own pace. You want to feel that your heart rate's going up, that you're breathing, getting a little harder, but at the same time, you don't want to pass out or anything. So let's take our feet a little wider than shoulder distance apart, toes slightly turned out, knees slightly turned out, going into our squat. Same thing for any squats and lunges we do. Squats, you can go as wide as you like. Just make sure your toes and knees are aligned with each other. And then with lunges, you can go as low as you like. But again, keeping those knees and toes aligned with one another. So here, warming up our hips, our knees, our ankles. Brace the abs, keep the chest up. We do squats every day in our lives, so this shouldn't be like a very new pattern. Since we're doing body weight exercises, no equipment here, basically we are sort of restricting what we can do. So that's why you see a lot of squats, lunges, push-ups, burpees, abs, things like that. Let's do 2 more here. All right, so we're gonna turn to the side. So feet are hip distance apart to start, so not as wide as the squats, hip distance apart. And then you create that nice long stride length for the lunges. Think about lowering the back knee to about ankle height. Good. Maybe 4 more. You notice at the lowest point of the one, my back knee is more or less underneath my hip. Let's turn to the other side, or you can just switch your legs if you're facing in front. If you're facing front. Ooh, really feel a nice stretch in my calves of my back leg and my hip flexor too. So that's what we mean by dynamic stretching. We're moving and stretching at the same time. The best way to warm up, because you're starting to build heat with all these movements that you do. Last one here. Good. Before we go down the mat, let's just do really giant extreme arm circles. When you reach the arm back like this, you'll feel a stretch in the chest. So that's what we're aiming for. Preparing our body for push-ups, and then let's kind of inchworm crawl our way down. So if you're on the edge of one mat, edge of the mat, not one mat, you can walk it down like this. Right, I feel right around here, I feel my calf stretch, my hamstring stretch, kind of your downward dog. And then you're going to get over into your plank position, your push-up. Now, if you want to drop to your knees at this time, go ahead. You do want your hands wider than your shoulders, even wider than your mat, even. And then you bend those elbows, lowering the chest about elbow height. Do about 4 more. Not too many. Feeling, waking up our arm muscles. Good. Okay. So I'm going to take off my sweatshirt here. And we are going to get started Now, if you find that you need a little bit more warm up, feel free to just do the first round at a sort of a less intense pace. Okay? Because that's ultimately what a warm up is. It's basically prepping and rehearsing the movement we're going to do at a less intense pace. Okay. Oops. Gosh. I have my grocery list pulled up. I'm looking at pita chips. I'm like, that's not the workout. Okay, sorry. All right, we have high-low plank, mountain plank. So the first exercise we're going to do, so we're going to be doing 4 different exercises and then repeating them. So it's going to be 8 rounds of work before we get a long break. So the high-low, so we're feet are hip distance when we go down, when we go up, and I want you to do as many mountain climbs as you like. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can do 8, whatever you like. If you want to do more mountain climbers and less of this, down and up, okay? So that's what we're going to do. If you don't have a good number, I would say just do 8. 4 seems really quick, and more than 8, it's like you're doing too much mountain climbers. And that means 8 total, so that's 4 per leg. All right, and then I'm going to show you the rest of the exercises during the breaks. Because, we're not going to remember it anyways. Ready? All right, first 40 seconds. Here we go. Starting in 10 seconds. We're going to get down on the mats. Have your wrists underneath the shoulders. You can do this on your knees too, but you'll have to get off of it. So you go down, up, and mountain. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go down with the other elbow, up with the other arm, and do those mountain climbers. Down and up. You can't do mountain climbers on your knees, and you can't do mountain climbers on your elbows. So you're gonna have to be up on your wrist here. All right, 40 seconds of this, so we have 15 seconds left. 10 seconds left. I'm gonna have a 20-second break. 3 seconds left. Okay, so the next exercise is out, in, kick, out, in, kick. All right, so you jack out onto a squat and you alternate which leg you kick. If you want to do more kicks, you can. You can also do a step out and kick, out and kick. Let's go. So there's a low impact option, and this is the high impact option. Jumping is high impact. So low impact, step out, and kick. So notice that there's no jumping there because your feet, one foot is always on the ground. When I do the jack out, both feet have to come off the ground in order to jump wide. Jump into the squat, kick. 10 seconds left. The kick works your quads, hip flexors, stretches your hamstrings. All right, done. Inchworm. All right, so we actually did it during the warm-up. I want you to walk out like this. Do a push-up if you want. Well, everything if you want. Walk it back and jump. And if you don't want to jump, then don't do the jump. Let's go. Walk it out. Push-ups on your knees if you want, or push up on your toes. Walk back, jump. Quick crawl up. Lots of arms. Walk it out. You're walking into your high plank. Break your abs. Don't forget, it's ultimately about a plank. Okay? Don't let the hips sag. Don't let the butt be in the air. 10 seconds to go. Go from upper body, the lower body to upper body. Okay, and this one is going to be cardio. Heart is a muscle. We're going to get that heart rate up. Low impact jumping jacks like this, nonstop. This is going to be 3 jacks, 2, 1, and star. 3, 2, 1, and star. Go. 3, 2, 1, and star. Go, go, go. Y'all joining me? So 1 star jack and then 3 regular jacks. And here is the low impact option, non-jumping jacks. Soft landing on the balls of your feet. Soft knees. Don't log out that knee joint. Getting the heart rate up. Getting harder and harder to breathe. All right, stop. Going back to the first exercise. Your heart rate and breathing are very much connected. Right, that's your heart pumping oxygen through your body, getting oxygen through your lungs, all that good stuff. So high low plank with the mountain climbers. In 3, 2, 1. Alternate which elbow goes down first, and also keep that butt down during the mountain climbers. Look, my shoulders are right over my wrists. My butt is the same height as my shoulders. Okay? What mountain climbers is not is this, where my butt's in the air, my shoulders are behind the wrist. Right? You don't want to do that. It really does nothing for you muscularly. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. We are standing on our feet and doing our jack out and kick. All right, you have about 15 more seconds of rest. All right, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get as low as you can into the squat. You can go as wide as you want to. Out in, alternate kicks. So right kick, left kick. Nice job, nice job. 5 more seconds. You should really be feeling the limit. Cut, cut, cut. Right at the 40-second mark. You want to push yourself so that you welcome this break. I mean, we always welcome a break, don't get me wrong. All right, we're gonna do our walkout. Come to the end of your mat. And 3, 2, 1. Remember to do push-ups on your knees. Optional jump. These are just a lot of varieties of ways in which we can use our body. Our human body is very versatile. You can do all this amazing stuff, lift weights, run, dance, stretch. It's truly amazing. Okay. All right, we have one more thing. And then we have our long break. So we have our jumping jacks. Or the 3, 2, 1, and star. All right, starting in 5 seconds. We don't need the break, just go, just go. Go, go, go. Cardio, 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 work the heart rate. Your heart's always working, even during push-ups and kicks. Okay, take a whole minute. So it's not to say that your heart isn't working, it's just when I do a cardio one, it's really focused on getting the heart rate up and less about the muscles. All right, so you've accomplished your first round. Okay. Now after this minute, we are doing what's called a Tabata round. I picked 2 exercises from the preceding 4 exercises, and we're going to do those alternating. So we're going to do the high-low plank mountain climber and the jumping jack star. That's it, just those 2. Alternate those 2, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. All right? 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds to rest. So I just took 2 of the 4 exercises. Now, if you don't like the 2 that I picked, feel free to do other ones. You have that jumping jack kick, and you have that walkout push up. Okay? So, we're just picking 2 exercises to do. And we're doing the Tabata timer. So 20, 20, 10. All right, are you ready? Here we go. The 2 I picked is the mountain climber and the jumping jacks. Just pick any 2. You don't want to go through all 4. All right, let's go. 20 seconds. Really short. So that means you want to go fast, 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 fast. Now the reason I picked these 2 is because one gets your heart rate up pretty high on a horizontal fashion, and the other one gets your heart rate up pretty high. Up. Okay, stand up. So that's why I picked the 2. It's they both kind of get the heart rate up, but it's not to say that the jacks and the kicks don't. All right, go. 20 seconds. Very short. The rest is also very short. It's only 10 seconds. 10 seconds left. Go, go, go. Back on the ground. So here's the thing. Because the rest is so short, you don't really get to fully recover. So with each subsequent round, you're starting fatigued. Go. I'm already tired. You're already tired. But we're starting the next round. Even before we fully recover. Can't really recover in 10 seconds. It's just enough of a break to transition. Get that butt down. All right, stand up. Stand up, stand up. Getting ready in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. You can tell your do low impact version. Try not to stop moving. Do something. Anything. Move with lower intensity as opposed to not moving at all. Okay. Back on the ground. Look, by the time I even get here, there's only 5 seconds left. All right, by the time I set it, it's time to go. If you want to do non-stop mountain climber, you can. Kind of gives you a little nice tricep break here. All right, stand up. Okay. We're in the 3rd round. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and start. Start is just an airborne jumping jack. That's all it is. Walk the ground. Walk the ground again. Okay. Ready? Let's go. I start with the mountain climbers, and then go down up. Mountain climbers again. You can start with different leg and different arm. Start with the right leg, then with the left, go down on the right, start with the left leg, and the left. Right, stand up. Oh, we're almost done. This is it. Squat ends right now. After 20 seconds. After that 20 seconds, you get a whole minute rest again. Get some water. Should be really feeling like you reached the limits and really need that 1 minute break. Okay. Okay. Get some water here. Now we go back to the 40-second, 20-second intervals. All right, so that was 40 seconds of work. So whenever we know that we have a longer work interval, there's something in our human brain that just sort of doesn't make us push ourselves as much. right? We're like, oh, we have all this time. And so that's kind of the mindset and psychology behind the shorter interval, the Tabata. You're like, oh, no, it's 20 seconds. You know, push myself, push myself. All right, so here we go, round 2. We start with a half burpee. Now, I'm sure you've done this before. When you do a half burpee, put your hands down. You can walk or jump back. All right, optional push-up. Anytime I do a burpee, the push-ups are optional. So let's say you do a push-up. But when after you're done, the half burpee means you don't stand up all the way. Jump your feet wide, and you're here. All right, so from the front, it looks like this. Jump here, and we never stand up. Now the challenge for today is that you have your hands up. So instead of here, you go back, and you pop those hands up. All right, that's definitely a lot more challenging when you're in a low squat. So don't worry about how high you can get your arms. Just try to get them higher than here. Maybe in the front, okay? All right, so I'm gonna start the timer. That's the first exercise in this next round. All right, here we go. Half burpee. When you're in this low sumo squat, get your feet wide, get your hands up. Ready? Here we go. Half burpee. As your feet jump in, you pop those hands up. Pop. Jump back. Raise abs. Up. Get those feet wider than the mat, wider than your hands. Raise those abs before you jump your feet back so that you're in a nice plank. 15 seconds to go. Definitely work your deltoids a little bit more and your flexibility when you try to get those arms up. 10 seconds. Whew, getting tired. 3 seconds. Finish on the last one. All right, 20-second break. We got, what is it? Oh, okay. This one's kind of fun. We're only going to focus on one side. So pick whichever leg you want to start with. This is your lunge. You're going to push off like this. But the challenge is you knee lift. All right, join me. So here's the push off if you want to do it like this, or the push up knee lift. Pump, pump. So think about that extra pull. Pull right here. Pull that knee up to your chest, which means you got to push off a little more. Whew. You know what you really feel? That back leg, that muscle, those quads. They're stabilizing. They're the thing that's not coming off the ground. So just get a break. The leg that comes off the ground is airborne, so there's no force working on it. Okay, don't forget which leg you did. We're gonna do the other side later. All right, now we're doing our lower body again. So when your feet are together in push-up position, it goes out, in, bear plank, in, out. All right, here's the push-up. Go ahead. You take your feet out, in, bear plank, in, out. So you do your push-up while you're in your high plank, and then you jump your feet in so your knees are in. All right, is everyone got it? You doing it? All right, we have about 30 seconds left. So non-jumping version, if you just tap your feet out like this, okay? Tap your feet out. Remember, you can always do push-ups on your knees. So you do your push-up on your knees, come off your knees, and do the jump combo. Okay. Other leg. Stand up, stand up. I'm just gonna face the other direction. So it's really obvious I switch legs. But you're gonna do that push-off, only the front leg comes off. Ready? Go. Ready. And after you push off, drive the knee up. Whatever you want to do with the arm that helps you drive that knee up. Okay. Oh gosh. And that's it. That's the 4 exercises. So we're back to the first exercise, the half burpee. All right, starting in 10 seconds. Oh, we can start up here. Half burpee. Push up. Up. That's why I felt weird to start up. Because we never stand up again. Now, if you didn't want to do this again, you don't have to do it during the Tabata round. But if you want to, do it. That's the nice thing about Tabata. We pick 2 exercises and you can pick really any 2 that you want. 10 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Back to that first leg. Get into your lunge position. So hopefully this makes sense. And by the way, you can do any lunge variation you want. All right, you can do down up lunges like we did in the warm up. Okay? Good. Push off, knee drive. So it's not even jumping, but it like is really, really muscularly challenging. And we get low, we push off, so there's this explosive part of this exercise, which basically also kind of gets our heart rate up. We're always trying to find new ways to torture us, you know. Oh, did I say torture? I meant make us stronger. Cut. Make us stronger. I don't know why I say cut, like we're movie stars filming a movie. Anyways, you can end there. We are doing our jumping combo. So basically, from the plank position, my feet go out, in, and then into the bear plank. All right, let's go, let's go. At your own pace, but a quick jump. So it goes out, in, out. Jack out, in, bear in, plank out. I know it's confusing when I say out, in, out. Keep your abs nice and tight. Definitely a lot of abdominal core work here in our push-up. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I didn't make it to the end. My class is really tired. Do as I say, not as I do. Try to go till the end of the 40 seconds. Even if you slow down. I just stopped, I admit it. Okay, let's go. Let's go, let's go. This is the last round of this 8-round thing. It was 4 exercises times 2. I know, the 8-minute blew by. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh, so tired. Okay, you get a minute. Get some water. Sometimes when you drink water, do you feel like it just gurgles around in your tummy? It's like your water doesn't get absorbed and it's just like swishing around. I don't like it when that happens. All right, listen. It's time for our Tabata. So, 2 exercises. Now, the ones I picked was the lunge push-off. So, in the first and the third round, so you have to switch legs. So you do 20 seconds of this, half burpee. 20 seconds of this, half burpee. 20 seconds, half burpee, 20 seconds. Okay? So that would be the Tabata. Now, if you don't want to do the lunges, I would pick a lower body. So you can do any variation lunges. If you want to do like squats and kicks from the first round, you can, right? I would pick a lower body because the other one I picked was the half burpee. If you don't want to do the half burpee though, all right, then you can do that plank, jump out in plank jacks. All right, we all know what we're gonna do. All right, let me set up this Tabata timer. So I would alternate upper body, lower body, upper body. Sorry, I'm gonna start with lower body. No, I'm gonna start with some burpees. So that's upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. Okay, starting in 10 seconds. I'm getting ready for my lower body. In 3, 2, 1, 20 seconds. Go, go. Push up just high enough to get that knee up and then back on the ground with an absorbed lunge. You're trying to make it really soft when you land that foot down. It is not a big thud. Okay, control. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm doing half burpees. I'm gonna actually start on the ground here. I'm gonna start with my push-up. In 3, 2, 1. Push up, hands up, push up, hands up. How many burpees can you do in 20 seconds? Whatever number you get this time, you're gonna try to get that time every single round. Most likely the number will decrease, but it's just something to aim for. Okay, other leg. Most likely as you get tired, the number of burpees you do go down. Push up, other leg. Any lower body you want to do. For some reason I'm coordinated when my left leg's in front. Ugh. Okay. Back on the ground. I actually forgot to count my burpees. I was talking too much, so this time I'm going to count my burpees. Here we go. Start. Stand up. All right, numbers again. Oh, try to get that number again. Back to the first side. Push up. Go. So while your legs are getting fatigued during those 20 seconds, your arms are resting. That's the idea behind the alternating of upper body, lower body. If you do constant lunges, you really get tired. Stop. Which may be the case that that's what you want to do. Like you really want to blast your legs. Yeah, do non-stop. Non-stop of the legs. Burpees. Did you hit the number of burpees in the one to? Competition between you and yourself. That's it. No one else. Push up. Okay. This is it. Start with lower body, so we got to end with upper body. Not forward, but yay, hands up. You have accomplished yet another extremely challenging workout. Okay, so the only thing we have left to do until we stretch at the end is abs. So take a minute break. And we're going to do 5 minutes of non-stop abs. And the way this works is whatever abs I'm doing, if you want to do the same, do it. If you don't like planks or want to do something else, go ahead. If you have any fatigue in the neck, Keep your head down. You don't have to straighten your legs all the way, especially if you feel any strain in the lower back. All right, so 5 minutes of abs, setting the timer now. Now, the reason why we can do 5 minutes of nonstop abs is because it kind of change up the ab exercise. We're not doing 5 minutes of nonstop crunches. All right? Okay. Are you ready? We're going to start on our back. I always start on the back, basic crunch. But here we go. This is where you go back to. If there's any sort of strain in your neck, you go back to supporting your neck. And you go back to feet on the floor, knees bent, lower back imprinted. Okay? I say that this is just the general safest way to do abs. But it's not the only way. So we're going to start adding some variations. So straighten the front leg and start to pull it in, out, in, out. I'm not rotating yet. Give me 3 more. Now rotate. As you pull it in, rotate. Bring that back elbow towards, or that back shoulder towards the front knee. Make sure both shoulder blades come up, even the front one. You don't want to just roll onto the front shoulder blade like that. Can you tell what I'm doing? You want to lift both up and then rotate. Give me 4 more. All right, other side. No rotation. In and out. So give your obliques a little break. 4 more without rotation. Add rotation. Up and over. Rotate the opposite shoulder toward the bent knee. Give me 8 more. 4, 2, 1. Flip over and get to your plank. All right, I know your abdominal, your rectus abdominis is fatigued. Wow, that took us 2.5 minutes. So you're on your elbows. So I know your rectus abdominis is fatigued, but that doesn't necessarily mean your transverse abdominis is fatigued. All right, from here, take your feet wide, well, at least wider than shoulder distance. I want you to open up for 8. Same side. 7, 6, lift an elbow. 5. If you want to fall to the sides of your feet, you can. 4, and then back on your toes. 3, 2. So working on the transverse and the obliques. 1. Other side for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Got our core muscles. Also includes our spine muscles. So let's bring it down on the belly, and reach up for 1. Reach the fingertips for the toes. 2. Keep the chin tucked. Use your spine muscles. These muscles counterbalance your abs, so it's important to strengthen your spine muscles as well as your ab muscles. Now lift the legs and the arms. Legs are straight, arms are straight. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Open up that chest. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flip back over onto your stomach. Oh, I just have sweat completely dripping down my face. Full roll up. Ugh. And 1. Now, if you get stuck on the roll up, you can bend your knee a little bit. This helps a little bit because you can use your hip flexors. And basically, as I roll up, I'm diving toward my toes. Give me just one more, and then I want you to stay up. Down to your tailbones. Out, in. You got 20 seconds left. You can do this for 20 seconds. Last 10 seconds. Let's try to flutter. You can do it with your knees bent. Flutter, flutter, flutter. In 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Well done. I'd like you to go into a hamstring stretch. So reach for your toes, reach for your ankles, whatever you can grab, bend those elbows, and deepen into your hamstring stretch. Well done. Well done with the abs. Well done with the boot camp. By the time we get to this point of stretching, you should always feel a sense of relief that the workout's done, but also a sense of pride, right? Like you did it. You kicked butt. You did something that a lot of people can't do, aren't willing to do, won't try to do. It's challenging. Would we say it's fun? I don't know. It depends on who you ask. So we're stretching our quads here. It's definitely fun in its own weird way. But I will admit that in the midst of it, yes, it's definitely hard. But I always feel so good after I do it. Especially after I have my shower. Then I'm like, whew. All right, let's get into that inner thigh and hamstring stretch. So this stretch here, I'm just pulling my leg towards my head. So normally if we were working out, I'd say don't sink into the shoulder, right? You probably heard me say that before. But we're just stretching now, so I'm totally just relaxing to my shoulder. This would be me engaging my shoulder if I was doing a plank. And here I'm just kind of resting into my joint. And that's okay. Why? Because we are stretching. Feel free to face the back. Yeah. Okay, so we're doing our other leg. And there's nothing wrong if you want to lay all the way down. I just prefer to be propped up. So admittedly, I don't always stretch. It's really important to, and I don't always make time to do it. But the reason why it's good to stretch is because we basically shorten and contract our muscles during any intense strength focused class. And if all you did was strength train all the time and never bother stretching, you become this like tight wad of muscle knots. And I would just say that that's not attractive. And not only is it not attractive, it's not functional. Like there is an optimal length. Let's go into your down dog. There's an optimal muscle length that allows you to contract the muscle in the most effective and efficient manner. And if your muscles are too tight, believe it or not, you're going to inhibit your strength growth, strength gains. You know, you're going to hit a limit. So it's important to stretch those muscles back out to that optimal length. All right, walk your hands back. Yeah, this looks eerily like one of our exercises today, but I swear it's a stretch. Slowly roll up. Open up those arms. Stretch that chest. To deepen the stretch, you can go like this. If you want to even get it deeper and get into your hamstrings, you can flip over. This kind of feels really intense, so it's not necessarily for everyone. Stretching, just like strength training, is very personal. When you want to feel the muscles stretching and working, and like it's not doing nothing. But don't go out of your range because you don't want to injure yourself. You don't want to pull a muscle or a joint out of place. All right. So it's like feel the sort of the challenges and limits of your stretch, and then just hold it there. All right. So just loosen up anything else. It will be your shoulders, your spine. I hope to see you all next week. It is going to be the last boot camp, virtual boot camp, at least for the near future, till I figure out other scheduling situations. But thank you all for your support, and Merry Christmas
Merry
if you celebrate
Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah.
And
If you celebrate other things, happy holidays.
Cool. I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Take care.